As you can see, I'm a little further on than I was in the last video. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. So what I did was use the information, the height of the cabinetry at the back, to give me the cabinetry on this side. And I went from this vanishing point out 2 feet and found this corner. It's 2 feet away. So the cabinetry on the other wall is the same height and depth as the cabinetry at the back. And you just bring this forward. Now remember that nowadays the cabinetry can be as high as 38 inches, but we're going with the standard 36. Then I also, and I realize now a little crookedly, put up the corner for our island, so that we can begin bringing that up as well. Now, it's the same height as this cabinetry, and it's in the same line. That's very important. They're against the wall. They're the same, lined up in the same way. So when I bring this across, that 2 feet, when I bring that across, I get the height for my island as well. And our stools are underneath the overhang. So we need to complete the box by bringing the back. It's best to have this vertical up before you bring the top across, and this vertical up, which I'm getting from the mapping we did when we mapped out the floor plan in perspective. Now, once I have this front box, it's quite easy to get the rest. I just use my right vanishing point to bring this corner across, and it'll meet the back, and best to bring this back too. But if I hadn't had those verticals up, this wouldn't work. It wouldn't be helpful. So now, where this crosses the back, I have this line. I'm sorry that it's already there, but okay, so then I have the back. So now you can see the whole top of this island. The stove is an important element. We're going to see it. So we had this established already, this vertical where we brought the floor plan up. When it touches this line, when this green line touches my orange line, that gave me the positioning along the width of the island for the stove, the range. And this corner, the 1.5 feet, the 2 feet back, I got from the floor. And I'm also checking to see that it's lining up successfully with the hood over top. So I have that. And where that is, I can go back this way. So my lines are already there, but the thinking is the same as the thinking we've been using all along, bringing things up from the bottom and making sure they're lining up with the top. So the hood now lines up with my range down below, and this lines up with what we planned and mapped out on the floor. We have 1.5 feet back for this part. This isn't hinged, it's a solid top, so that's why we have a 1.5 feet of countertop here on the other side of the range, which really isn't enough. But here we have more. We have 2.5 feet, and that's sufficient. Stools themselves, they're going to be 2 feet high, but we also going to add some cushion over top. So we'll go with the 2 feet. Now, better to have verticals up. That's the true key of keeping everything going at once and not losing focus. So, and you can do one stool at a time, might be the better way to do this. So now I'm going to bring 2 feet from the wall over here, just the way I brought the 3 feet for the top of the island over from the wall. So I'll bring this across There's 2 feet. And this, what this demands is that you ignore what's going on the grid behind. It doesn't relate to this. This has been brought over from the wall. When I bring this across, this 2 feet, to meet this vertical for the other stool, the stool that's closer to me, it also applies. And now I can go the other way. To get the top of it, I'll go a little darker so you can see. And always using your vanishing points. Even though there are lines to guide you underneath, it's really very important to keep this as accurate as we can. And I had a vertical up, so I can use it for this part. And it's been helpful to have, I think, a little bit of space between the stool and the island itself. The island itself begins here, and these boxes for the stools are here along this line. So that's helpful. There's a little bit of space there. Now it does get confusing, so at some point we're going to have to stop and either color in portions of this so that they make sense, like we did with the windows up above, or black start inking in so that we can see what we're doing. And here's the vertical. That's what we're missing. We're missing a vertical for this stool, and we're missing this. Okay, so just to indicate the first stool, it goes up to this green line, and goes back to this blue line, and the top, we'll put the top in green. Okay, so that's the first indication of this first stool. And we're also going to add a little bit more to it, give it a little bit more height. So this you can estimate, but we want to have, you can have 9 inches. You should have at least 9 inches from the countertop down to the stool. So if we take a smidge of this away to give us thickness for our countertop, our overhang, we still have quite a bit left over between here and the top of our stool. So I think we can take a little bit of that away and use it for cushion. Now, these would have to be custom made, and I don't think we actually have what you would call cushion. We have, these are clear acetate cushions, stools. They're clear stools, but it wouldn't hurt to give them a little bit more height, I think. They look a little kind of stodgy. Missing this vertical at the back, and I'm really feeling it now because I can't see anything that I'm doing. So this is, now the other thing about this at the back here is that it's narrower than the base. So we'll have to sort that out when we're putting our detailing in. Okay, and here's this stool at the back. We'll put a little bit of height up here. The upper cabinetry on the right wall, it's 10 feet wide, so it goes the full width, but it's 1 feet deep and 1.5 feet high, and it's 1.5 feet above the counter. So here it is. It's 1.5 feet above the countertop, the base counter, and it's 1.5 feet high, so it ends at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the top of it is 6 feet, so we drop it down from 6 feet. So there's 6 feet, that's our eye level. We drop it down 1.5 feet, and it goes the full width across. So we're gonna start 1.5 feet, it's gonna go the full 10 feet across. So we'll stop it here, and it's 1.5 feet down from the 6 foot height. We're going to bring it out only 1 foot. So we'll bring it out to the next foot and bring it down. And then we'll go across. And that will meet up back here and give us our cabinet. Now, because it begins at the 6 foot height, we're not going to see any depth at the top, and we don't really see much at the bottom either.